Technical difficulties, that's all right, my friends. How you doing? That is par for the course today because I'm not feeling super hot. You may notice that my energy is down a little bit, but that's okay. I'm here with you guys, and she's back. I'm very, very excited. I'm going to tell you the story about this, and then we're going to get to some questions today. So I will try my darndest to go the full hour and a half today with you guys and get as many questions answered as possible. Of course, we're doing giveaways, you ask. Are you doing giveaways, Eric? Yeah, we always do giveaways. We give away tons of stuff, and we love it. So today, so we're doing live right today and tomorrow. Instagram's watching, Facebook and YouTube, and we're giving away 2 lifetime memberships to the Unstoppable Guitar System /365 today. Now listen, because the directions are very important. This is literally going to be the easiest win for whoever is paying attention. This is for people who are paying attention. For people that are checked out, you're probably not going to win because literally there's only a few people that are going to do this right. So I suggest you listen if you want to win one of 2 lifetime memberships to Unstoppable Guitar System /365. We'll be announcing these in a moment. I'll be telling you about that. But here's the deal. What you need to do is go to my Facebook or go to my Instagram page. You're going to see a post there. And on that post, it looks something like this. This guy right here, right? Looks a little bit like me. It's my twin brother. And you see there's a little arrow pointing towards a little airplane. These are the things you got to do. And I'm going to tell you, well, I've told you what you're going to win. But here's the deal. You're going to go to that post. Obviously, you need to like and comment, right? But you also need to share. Oh, and you need to follow. Like, comment, share, follow, okay? And the way that you're going to share this is you're going to share it in your Instagram stories. Eric, I don't know how to do that. It's really complicated. The internet's hard. I know, kids. That's why we have that arrow there to point you the right way. You literally just press that button, that little airplane button, bing, and then you'll see your Instagram story page come up, and then you just hit that little happy icon with your head on it, with your face on it. That's all you do. It's literally that simple. You press 2 buttons. Press that little airplane button, boom, here comes your Instagram story, boom, you press your face. How hard is that? That's right, the answer is not hard at all, Eric. And so we're going to be announcing this. I'm going to tell you when we're going to be announcing this. But the winner is also going to win
one tomorrow and one on Thursday.
On Instagram stories?
Instagram stories for the winners.
One today and one tomorrow after the broadcast, right?
One tomorrow morning before the broadcast and one Thursday morning.
You hear that? One tomorrow morning before the broadcast and then one Thursday morning before, I don't know, lunch or something like that. Okay, so it'll be that's where we're going to be announcing it on Instagram stories. So you need to get familiar, a little bit familiar with Instagram stories. Cool. Not only will, if we pick you, and we're only going to pick winners who listen to what I said, they follow, they share, or they, all the things I just mentioned there. You're following the Instagram, you're liking it, you're sharing it on your stories. Not only are we going to pick 2 winners for that are going to win all of UGS, all of 365 lifetime lessons, but also these 3 books, right? Guitar Mastery Simplified, Ukulele Mastery Simplified, How to Read Music. All 3 of those books that you can find on Amazon that I've written, and they're going to go out as well. And if you want them signed and all that good stuff, then cool, I will do that. Cool? Okay, here we go. You ready? So let's talk about, and I'll mention that again, actually. I'll leave these up here. You don't go anywhere there. I'll mention this later on for folks that are just coming around. Okay, Instagram, you know what to do. If you want some questions answered, head on over to YouTube or Facebook. Okay, cool. Now, you guys have not seen this guitar in a while. This is my 1969 Gibson SG that I bought several years ago now. I don't know how many years ago I bought this. Maybe 5 years ago. I wanted something that was born the same year that I was born. And if you know my love for vintage instruments, then this is a 1969, and it was built the year I was born. I love that. I don't know why. It's like we've grown up together, or in separate places in the world. Now we're finally reunited. But as the story goes, so I bought this from King B Guitars, which is in Franklin, Tennessee. It's literally like if you just go out into the woods and then keep going past the cow and then go past the creek and go past the old Amico station and all this stuff, you'll find King B Guitars. And it's literally like just cows and some dude's house. King B Guitars is out there, right by railroad tracks. And I used to go there, and dude who owns the place is just a plethora of knowledge for guitars and everything else. And he had this SG just sitting up there, and I was like, man, I want an SG so bad. And I just kept looking at it. I looked at it for a year, kept playing it, and then he finally told me the story of it. So as the story goes, this guitar was sold to him by the engineer for the rock group The Runaways. Now, if you haven't heard of The Runaways, that's okay. They weren't gigantic, but they were pretty big in the 70s. Two founding members were Lita Ford and Joan Jett. You've heard of those gals, right? Yeah. So that was The Runaways. It was an all-girl rock group. They had Cherry Bomb was their big song. I can't name anything else that they did. But nonetheless, supposedly, this was the guitar that was in the studio with them all the time that they recorded a bunch of tracks with. So so both Lita and Joan would go back and forth with this guitar, and he was selling a bunch of stuff in the studio, brought this to my buddy at King B. My buddy bought it, and the rest is history. I bought it from him, and I'm absolutely in love with this guitar. Well, I've played it so much that it just started eking out on me. If I go to bend notes or whatever, they would get choked. And so I brought this down to Greg Ellis. You guys know my guitar tech, total guitar amp wizard here in Franklin, Tennessee. Super cool guy. And I brought it to him, and he goes, "Oh yeah, this is the deal. You've pretty much just worn out the frets on it." So, and you're going to see some footage coming up of this because I brought my Strat and my Tele and my SG. And then next time I go in, I'm going to bring my Gretsch and my my 59 Les Paul Special or Junior. I forget every single time. But nonetheless, and yeah, and so anyhow, that's what I'm going to do. And I'll let you know about that, how that turns out. But all my other guitars have turned out great. I've actually just switched. I just went from 10 through 46, the string gauge, to 9 through 42. I've been playing 10s for pretty much my whole life, and I've just said, I want to try some 9s. And I'm pretty happy with them. Now, I only changed to 9s on my Strat, on my Fender guitars, because the lighter string gauge, they have a longer scale, and because of that, you have to tighten the strings more, and because of that, it creates more tension, so when you're bending notes and what have you, it's not as comfortable. So I have 10s, 10 through 46 on my Gibsons, and 9 through 42 on my Strats. And the more guitar players that I've been talking to here, they just say like kind of that's the Quan, that's the magic place, is the 9 through 42, 9 through 46 on my EVH. But nonetheless, people are always asking about string gauge and what have you, and I always say, do what's good for you. Do what you like. Do what feels good to you. Stevie Ray Vaughan tuned his guitar a half step down and played 13s. Well, he played a whole hell of a lot, right? And he was bending all the time, so he had very strong hands because he played so much. But, do what works for you. My understanding is there's some great guitar players that I've known throughout history that are using 8s, like Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. Supposedly he uses 8s, so, Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to get straight to some questions. Yes, solid guitar. That's what SG stands for, solid guitar. So, not a lot of people know this, but in I believe it was 1960 or 1961, somewhere around there, and I could be getting this story wrong, but there was the Gibson Les Paul, right? And my understanding is, I won't even go into that story because I might mess it up. But nonetheless, they switched. They stopped making Les Pauls in that year. Why? Because they were wildly unsuccessful. Yeah, that Les Paul. They were wildly unsuccessful. No one was buying them. The whole Les Paul craze didn't start until later on. Till like Eric Clapton and Zeppelin and guys like that, okay? Anyhow, all that being said, the next guitar that was in line was the Les Paul. This is a Les Paul. This is what they called the Les Paul, literally. The first, you can buy these. I've seen them. I've played them. I believe it's 1960, 1961, somewhere around there. The Gibson SG, as we know it now, the SG was actually called the Gibson Les Paul, and it says Les Paul right there in the whole 9 yards. Yeah, crazy. And then that changed like within a year or so, and then it became the SG, the solid guitar. So cool. Billy Gibbons uses sevens, Brad is saying. Sevens. Wow, that is a real thin string. So yeah, man, if it works for him, then great. Okay, so let's get to some questions, shall we? And I'm going to be starting here on YouTube. How about that? And then I'll be bumping over to Facebook. If you're just joining us here, friends, I'm a little under the weather. Was not feeling well at all last night. Slept in a different bed. I didn't want to get the family sick if I was sick. But I don't know if I was sick. I think I might have had some food poisoning. I had a bunch of raw food yesterday and juices and stuff like that. And I think someone didn't clean the celery. That's what I think. So, kids, clean your celery. Otherwise, you'll get sick, okay? All right, here we go. So here we go, starting on YouTube. Eric, did you know Philip McKnight from Know Your Gear said he likes your content? Also, I mentioned him coming up on one of your live feeds, and he is interested in collaboration. Oh, beautiful, BJ. Thank you so much. I will have Mike, my project coordinator extraordinaire, I'll have him look into Philip McKnight, Know Your Gear. I've heard of him, but that's all I can say. There's so much great stuff on YouTube that obviously it's hard to get to everything. Jasco Plumbing, what starts the donations for today. Jasco Plumbing, thank you so much, brother. Can't stay again, but I'll check out the replay. Just wanted to replenish the lunch funds. Thank you so much, Jasco. That's so kind. If you guys are wondering what the hell is going on here, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, but on YouTube, you can actually donate. And folks have been doing this lately, and it's really super kind because the boys get to eat. And I actually let them go to lunch now as opposed to, keeping them here and working them. So now they get to go to lunch. So thank you so much, Jasco, and anybody else who donates. Super kind. Okay, are 9s easier to play than 10s? They're lighter. Okay, so yes, in essence, they're easier to play, like easier to bend and stuff. Yes, they are easier. Okay, but then again, it's subjective, okay, because some people it may be too slinky for them, and that's not easy. That's difficult because now they're having to play lighter or do something different. So as a rule, yes, it's easier, but it all depends on the player. Okay, is it a bad idea to keep guitars hanging on the wall? No, folks do it all the time. If you walk into Groon or Rumble Seat or whatever, you see guitars hanging on the wall all day long. This weekend or Friday, Brett Papa was in town and we hit a bunch of guitar shops here. Played over $1 million worth of guitars in one day, which is actually just 2 guitars alone was almost $700,000, which is crazy. They were 1958, 59 Les Pauls, and those were hanging on the wall. So. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. What does matter is your place a decent temperature and is the humidity in a decent range. That is important. I talk about that stuff inside Unstoppable Guitar System. By the way, for those of you who have not done it yet, the free course, the link's in the description of this video, YourGuitarSage.com/30. A lot of stuff I'm going to be talking about today, I talk about inside that course, and it's free for you, okay? Cool. What would be the number one piece of advice for a beginner songwriter? Elliot, study. I'd say the number one thing is, I'm going to give you 2 of the number one things, is study hit songs or study the songs that you want to write. So a particular artist, study those songs inside and out. Know the music theory behind it. Don't let that scare you. Music theory is not hard at all. It's hard when it's being taught by someone who is putting something before something else in the wrong order. Otherwise, music theory is really easy. If you can count to 8 or 7, you can do music theory. So with that being said, Elliot, also know the Nashville number system. Super easy. I have videos for it here on YouTube. Obviously, I've got a whole course for that inside the Unstoppable Guitar System, the one that I'm going to be doing the giveaways for today. Okay, that's okay. Here we go. And I'll tell you more about that again later. I've got a vintage Fender Strat. Plays nicely, but it hums a lot. What can I do to check to reduce the hum? Rahan, so Stratocasters have single coil pickups, so they're going to hum. Now, with that being said, you may have a specific problem with your Strat, but chances are it's just the single coil pickups. Enter the humbucker pickup. They call them humbuckers because they buck the hum, because they get the hum out of there by taking two signals that are similar, and the one cancels the other signal out without taking the beautiful sound of the guitar away. And then also it's much louder, much more aggressive. Okay, so Rahan, that's a Stratocaster for you, pal. Especially if you're running through a lot of overdrive, which most folks don't typically do, you know. With Strat, it's more cleaner type tones. Do you have any tips on moving chord shapes up and down the fretboard? My fingers always go out of place. I can never hold the shape. Kralo, that's just practice. That's all that is. If you're talking about like how to understand chords across the fretboard, caged system, and I have videos for that here on YouTube. Search caged, YourGuitarSage caged. Okay. Hey, what is this? What is this? Someone just donated $24.99. Brian Copeland, that's right, buddy. What's up, brother? And I saw your message this morning. So Brian and I were chit-chatting the other day about surfing because he's a surfer and I grew up surfing, and super cool. I love to find out what the kids are doing too. You know what I mean? Other than guitar, like it's really cool. So Brian and I were talking about that, and he's like, "Oh, dude, you surf?" Yeah, grew up in Cocoa Beach, so a lot of fun. Oh, okay. Brian, thank you, bud. So appreciate it. We've got a lunch fund already today. Thank you. Okay, so Kralo, yeah, you just have to practice. And if you want some exercises to practice, if you want to know the method, listen, guitar. Let me ask you, are you frustrated about guitar? Chances are 99% of you said yes, right? It's because you're either expecting too much in too quick of a time, or more often is the problem is you're doing stuff out of order. That's why I created the free course, is because eventually here you get so many comments that you just can't get to everybody. And if you're like me and you really like to help people out and get them to the next level, you got to have something in place. That's why I created that free course. So get in that free course. It's literally free. Ain't no nothing, ain't no dollar, it's nothing. It's free. It's the first 30 lessons that I would teach any student. I don't care what you're trying to do. Be a studio player, be a blues player, be a rock player. It's the first 30 lessons every guitar player should do. Okay? Do that. The description, or the link for that's in the description of the video, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Okay? Go there. It's seriously going to change the way that you think and play. Okay. Eric, are Epiphone SGs as good as Gibson in build quality? Typically, no, they're not. Do you ever take a few days from playing guitar? I don't purposefully take days from playing guitar, but like, let's say, usually when I go, like if I go to a Tony Robbins event or something like that, or if I go out of town, I usually bring some sort of guitar with me anyhow so that I can keep noodling. But I typically don't try to take a few days off of playing guitar. I love playing guitar, but sometimes a situation, I don't know, like if I were sick or something like that, I might, but no, I typically try not to. Thank you so much, World of Hecky. I appreciate that. Super kind, bud. Jasco just changed a regulator. Okay. Michael's asking a plumbing question on there to Jasco. Beautiful. We do all sorts of stuff on this channel. So I don't see an airplane. Do I need to do it on the phone instead? Gary, yeah, probably so. You probably need to do that on the phone because from my understanding on Instagram, you can't post on the computer. You can view it on the computer, but you can't post. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, Gary, yeah, on your phone. Yep. Eric, do I need to learn to sight read for guitar? If yes, so where can I learn? No, you do not need to sight read. But if you needed to, you could get this book, How to Read Music. This is on Amazon. The title of it is How to Read Music. That's what you would search for if you wanted to find it. Obviously, you could also search Eric Andreas on YouTube or on Amazon to find that, okay? But no, you don't need to sight read unless you are wanting to play classical guitar. If you want to play classical guitar, you pretty much need to sight read because all the good material that you're going to be looking up is in standard musical notation. Cool? Thank you, Brian. So kind. What effect does the string gauge have on tone, volume, etc.? Michael, so technically, you know, the bigger an object is, the lower in pitch it is, okay? So if you take a string that's really, really, really long and you pluck it, it's going to be lower in pitch. If you took a string that's only this long and you plucked it, it would be very high in pitch. That's why when you open up a piano and you see all the different strings and you see the higher strings, they're real short. So that's true, you know, of a whale. Whales make real deep sounds like this, whereas hummingbirds make super, super high sounds. I don't even know what they might sound like, but because they're smaller bodies, right? So same thing with string gauge. The longer or the thinner a string is, the lower the tone's going to be, the lower the pitch is going to be. With that being said, a very thick string, right? Or how can I put this? A thick string, it technically is going to have to be a little bit tighter because it's bigger. And so there's going to be more tension on the guitar. So, you know, it's a subjective matter. Again, if you think there's a big difference in tone and volume, listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan and then listen to Billy Gibbons. Literally, the strings on Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitars are almost twice as thick. Okay, almost twice as thick, 7s versus 13s, okay? So, but if you listen to both those players, they both play very similar licks. Obviously, Stevie Ray Vaughan was busier and just a beast at the blues, so is Billy Gibbons. But nonetheless, if you listen to their tones, you're not going to hear a ton of difference, right? I mean, there's differences, but I wouldn't say that that's related directly to the string gauge. Okay, so I say go with what's comfortable for you. That's really important. Okay. Pretty much decided to go Blues Junior Tweed for the first tube amp. It's a good choice. I've seen people changing out the Jensen speaker for a Guitar Warehouse speaker. Yeah, he said WGS, but yeah, GW, a Guitar Warehouse speaker. Is there a perk to this? That's what I've done in mine as well. Or are they just being uber picky with this? Ryan, I can tell you that my guitar tech, Greg Ellis, he's a hacker, and he knows what makes these amps tick. And that's what he's done on both of my Blues Juniors. Every Blues Junior that I've ever owned, that's the first thing he does, is he changes it to a Guitar Warehouse speaker. They're just great speakers. That being said, I have played just stock Blues Juniors, and they sound fantastic. Okay, so I think it's definitely going to be, you're definitely going to hear a change in the sound, but it may not be what you're looking for. So if you love the sound of your Blues Junior, then stick with that. And if you're like, man, it needs something else, then those forums are somewhat helpful. I say somewhat because there's a million people with a million different opinions, and sometimes they don't know what they're talking about. It's just an opinion. It may not even be correct. And so, you don't want to go down that rabbit trail, that rabbit hole, and then you go buy a speaker, put the time and the energy into it, and then it's not what you want, right? So it's important to understand that. Did the pickups on the 58 and 59 have that brightness that the old Les Pauls are known for? Love that sound. Swan Pond, yeah, they really did. It was a very unique sound. So what Swan Pond is talking about, on Friday, I went to 3 different shops and just tried a bunch of different guitars. Brett Papa was with me, and we had a blast. And there was a couple 58s and 59s that we played, and they were surprisingly light guitars. And yeah, the tone was like brighter. Yeah, there wasn't as much lower end, you know. They sounded not so much bright as they sounded like it was almost just like the lower end wasn't in there. Does that make sense? So yeah, they sounded a little bit more like that. What do you think about TrueFire? I think TrueFire is awesome. I've done a course for them, and I think they're swell people, and their lessons are great. Is it okay to ask basic questions here? Now, that's a great time for a question there, Beverly. But yes, yeah, sure. Ask any questions, and I'll answer them. Hey, Eric, do you have any tips, advice for learning fog hats? I just want to make love to you and slow ride. I've tried learning them via videos and tabs online. They're not helping. Your thoughts? Ben, they should be helping because they're telling you what chords and what notes to play. So they definitely should be helping. Okay? I think that I'm going to call you up. I'm going to call you out, Ben. I don't think you want it bad enough. Okay? If you want to learn that song, you will do anything that it takes to learn that song. Okay? I'm not picking on you. I just that's what the tabs and the videos are for. You just got to dig into them, you know, and you can't expect to be an amazing guitar player overnight. It's just going to take time, but you definitely have to dig in. You've got, you know, what do you mean that they're not helping? I mean, definitely there's no words that I'm going to tell you that are going to help you learn those songs better than a video or a tab would, right? If you can get more specific, though, I might be able to help, okay? Because that, a question alone, I wasn't really able to get the idea. Okay, beautiful. Oh, please make sure that you're leaving that question mark behind the question, okay? Okay, Santos de Silva, Eric, when you see a guitar chart, you always try to translate to National Number System in your mind, or you just read and play along as it shows the chart? Ricardo, I just read the chart as it is. Now, if I'm writing a chart, I'll typically create it in the number system. Sometimes I'll just create the chords. It just depends. But, I mean, I haven't written charts in a long time. I try to do stuff by memory anymore. But, you know, charts are typically for folks that are in the studio and they want to communicate with other studio players, and maybe they're going to change keys, that sort of thing. So that's all the reasons why you would want a number system chart if you're going to change keys. And then also it just mentally helps you to put the capo in different places and maybe come up with different arrangements in different keys, still in the same key, but it's going to look and feel like a different key. And that's why the number system is so valuable. But no, I don't do that every time. No. How often should I change my strings on my acoustic? Well, it just depends how often you're playing them. Many variables that would determine that. So here's the easy question. Here's the easy answer, Will. Do it when it sounds like it should be changed, okay? There's nothing wrong with keeping them on there for a year or two if it doesn't affect the sound of the guitar. My guitars, usually I keep the strings on there for sometimes 6 months to a year. I know it sounds crazy. But I have lots of guitars, and they just sound fine to me. Sound totally fine. They're not going out of tune, anything else. And I have lots of different guitars that I play very often. So as opposed to it being my only guitar that I'm playing, if I was playing the SG all the time, then maybe I couldn't do that. But since I have like 40, 50 guitars, I don't know if I have that many anymore, maybe 30-something guitars, then because I'm playing different ones all the time, they're just not going to get worn out. But it really depends on the individual player, okay? Okay, I don't have internet at home. If I buy the Unstoppable Guitar System, can I download and watch the videos offline? Daniel, I apologize. No, you cannot. It's streaming only. I'm trying to understand the intervals, the distance between notes. What's that all about? Brad is saying. Okay, Brad, let's talk about it. Now, I do cover this in some videos on YouTube. And obviously inside of the free course, I think I've talked about intervals. But so an interval is the distance between two notes. Don't get too confused about it, okay? It's literally the distance between two notes, okay? So let's do this. Let's look at the 5th fret of the low E. If I pluck that note and I go up a half step. The interval distance between those two is a half step. If I go from the 5th fret to the 7th fret, the interval distance is one whole step. That being said, we have the major scale. Okay? And these notes are one, here it is. This is where it gets really confusing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Boy, that's confusing, isn't it? If you want to know all about intervals, that's what you need to know right there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's it. 1. We're back to 1. So literally, this note here is called the major 2 because it's the 2. This is called the major 3 because we're going up 3. 1, 2, 3. This is called the perfect 4th, perfect 5th, major 6, major 7. Back to the octave. So if somebody says, what is this note? And you say, it's a major 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Someone said, what's this note? It's this major 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? So that's what we mean by intervals. Now that's just, scratching the surface there, but technically that's 90% of what you're ever going to need to know about intervals. All right, great question. Hi, Eric, which 3 songs have shaped your guitar playing the most? That is a great question. Ain't Talking About Love. I would say Ain't Talking About Love. I'd say maybe Back in Black and Crazy Train. Those are songs that, really, there's just so many tunes. To just pick 3 is difficult. But those are 3 that really I could quickly understand theoretically as a kid, and then brought so much into my own playing because of those, because I just obsessed with a lot of those. Okay, Eric, I hate to ask a 3rd time, but I don't know if you saw this before. I probably didn't. Okay, yeah, I sure did, Ben. You must have gone to the restroom, because I definitely asked that one, bud. I definitely answered that one. Basically, I said tablatures and videos, that no amount of me talking is going to help you learn those songs, but learning the tab and learning to play by ear or using a video or something is the stuff that's going to help you there, okay? Oh, yes, Vic, thank you for asking. And because I'm going to... Vic is saying, how do I send donations to you? You a cool teacher. Funny hair. Thank you, Vic. So here's the do. Here's the do. If you would like to donate to my funny hair, this is how to do it. So Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. There's only one place you can do this, friends. It's on YouTube. And basically in the chat area. You're going to see the chat area, right? It's the place where people are chatting. That's what we call it, the chat area. And then in the lower left portion of that, you're going to see a little smiley face, and you're going to see a little money sign. If you click on that money sign, you can donate to the Your Guitar Sage Lunch Fund. Pretty cool, right? Vic is going to donate to my funny hair. Thank you, buddy. Eric, when will you upload 2 hand tapping videos on YouTube? I most likely have them on there. So what you want to do, anytime you're looking for a video from me on YouTube, search Your Guitar Sage, and then whatever it is you're looking for. Your Guitar Sage Blues, Your Guitar Sage Elvis, Your Guitar Sage 2 hand tapping, you're going to find stuff, chances are, okay? Thank you, Dave R. Tone is 100% subjective, indeed. Now, there are some, rules of thumb, but if somebody doesn't like that tone, that rules them out, okay? So, indeed, it's all subjective. Anybody have an Epiphone Wildcat? I don't know about that. All right, these questions are going fairly quickly. Okay, looking for just those with the question mark, okay? I got to scan. Is there a small amp head you could recommend for classic rock and playing at home? I have a 212 V30 cabinet. Is there a small amp head? Thomas, you can use, I tell you what, get a Blues Junior, because a Blues Junior will drive a 412 cabinet. That's what to get, okay? Is there a simple way to learn, the majors and relative minors? Yes, Walter. I just did a video on this, and it hasn't gone up yet, but essentially, whatever the major is, you go down 3 half steps, and that's your relative minor. Okay? So if we're in the key of G, okay, key of G, then basically you're going to go down 3 halves. What? What is this? Someone just donated $30. Dude, that's cool. Ben Kennedy, thanks from a vet. Got a question mark. Waiting on Facebook. Thank you so much, Ben. Okay, so Ben must be inside the program because he's talking about Facebook. Okay, is that what you're saying? I think that's what you're saying, Ben. Thank you so much. Super kind, brother. Thank you. So kind. Okay, let's get back to this. So we're talking about relative major and minor. So if we are in the key of G and we wanted to know the relative minor, the only thing we need to do is go down 3 half steps. Trust me, this is super simple. It's all you got to do, Walter. Here we are. We go 1, 2, 3. That note is E minor, is E. And we're in the key. The relative minor is E minor. If we're in the key of C, 3rd fret of the 5th string, we're going to go down 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. That's an A. And so now we're in the key of A minor. This works for anything. If you want to go further up the fretboard here, let's say starting on the C, same place, go down 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3, it's A minor. Okay? Cool? That's called relative major and minor. And here's another really cool thing. You ready for this? And this is the video that's coming up that I'm going to be doing. It's a long video, so it'll teach you all. But basically, wherever you have a major chord, if you go down 3 half steps, you have a minor chord. Anytime you have a minor chord, if you go up 3 half steps, you have a major chord. This works for every single key, on every single instrument, on every single major or minor chord, from the beginning of time to the end of time, amen. Okay? It just works every single time. Okay? That's if you're staying diatonic within a key, which happens like 95% of the time. How do you tune up or down a half step, for example? Ronnie, you would tune one string down a half step and then tune the other strings down a half step. So use your tuner. You got to know something about the notes, right? Which I teach in the free program, so check that out. I teach you how to know all the notes. It's real simple. So make sure, Ronnie, that you understand that. That's in the free program, YourGuitarSage.com/30, and then you'll know what notes to tune to. I'm wanting to make my scales sound legato because my fingers don't reach across the frets. They sound staccato. Any suggestions? Tal, practice. The reason they don't sound legato is because you haven't practiced enough. That's all. No foul. It's just practice more. You can do anything on the guitar that you want to do. I'm not just saying that. It's just true. I mean, unless you got and hell, robots are learning stuff now. So unless you got like an old robot brain where they couldn't teach it how to do anything, now with AI, robots can learn. So you're definitely smarter than a robot. So unless you're like have some weird stagnant brain disorder where you just absolutely can't learn anything, which mean that you're on life support and your brain is not working at all, which I don't think is you because you typed this, then you're good. You can learn it. But trust me, you've got to dig in. You've got to dig in with both, with your claws, with something, okay? You got to dig in. Start at the free series, okay, that I've got for you. Description, links in the description of the video. Okay. Do I have a UGS app? Celeste, we made the Unstoppable Guitar System so it will work on mobile. So an app is limiting, right? Whereas the website, you've got everything just like if you were on the computer. That's what the Unstoppable Guitar System is. We have it optimized as well for mobile. So if you hit it from a tablet, it's going to look one way. If you hit it from the phone, it's going to look another way, computer another way, or it's going to look very similar, but it's going to react according to how you want it to react on your specific device. We did a lot of migrating over to this new system and what have you, was all so that folks could do that, okay? All right, good stuff, super good stuff. Just moved from chords, bar chords, to simple licks, found that a hard transition. Took me 2 weeks to nail the 8-note lick in Wild World. Is this pretty normal? Yeah, sure, it's normal. Just like someone learning Mandarin for the first time. They're going to suck, They're going to just totally suck at it. Here's the weirdest thing. I don't walk on a tightrope very often. so I suck at it. I don't speak Mandarin very often because of that I suck. I play guitar a lot, or at least a decent amount, so I'm better at those things. You've got to understand this, everyone. I know for some of you it sounds simple, and I've said it over and over and over again, but you cannot hear this enough. There's no one that can hear this enough. Your brain is elastic. Your brain can learn anything. It can do anything. And I will pound this into your head until you get it, because it's true, and I hate to see people living small. Okay? Anything that you want to teach your brain. You could be Hendrix, you could be the next Eddie Van Halen, you could be better than them. But you can't do it without working your ass off and working more than them. That won't happen. I can guarantee you that. But anything that you want to do, you can do. It's just, I mean, you want to scale a mountain, it's just one step after another. But you got to get that in your head. You can do it, okay? So, yes, Beverly, I'm not thrashing on you. I'm proud of you that you're doing this. But yes, that's normal, okay? I'm just trying to ease your mind to understand, okay? Hey, Eric, did Vince Gill tell you any cool Eagles stories or how he's doing in band? So, T, when I met Vince, this was before he was in the Eagles. This was probably 8 years ago, if I were to just guess right now, which maybe 10 years ago. Nope. No, it was about 7 years ago, because I definitely had the Unstoppable guitar system going at that time. Yeah, because, yeah. Okay, my typo, the GWS speaker. I decided to go with a change. Which particular speaker did you go with? I don't know the particular speaker, Ryan. I just know it's a Guitar Warehouse. But it's probably the one that everybody's talking about, I guess, you know. Arno Son, what's your honest opinion of Musician, the app, right? Man, here's the deal. You can go see a movie. You can see a picture of one frame of a movie. You can experience a movie. Instead of watching something about Fiji, you could go to Fiji, right? And to me, things like these apps that are somewhat helpful, maybe like looking at a picture of Fiji as opposed to a movie of Fiji, or being in Fiji. I mean, why wouldn't you just play the guitar? You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to, I can guarantee you that any app is not going to be better than just picking up the guitar and playing, right? So I know I get that question a lot, so people must be confused about that, but that's indeed the truth, okay? All right, hey, I'm going to jump over to Facebook because I feel like I'm ignoring them, and I don't want to ignore them. They're my friends too. So let me jump into this real quick, and I'm sorry about the technical difficulties in the beginning there. I muted everything. I thought I did. I guess I didn't. Okay, so here we go. Questions. And I'm only looking for those with a question mark. I'm skipping right over it if it doesn't have a question mark, because I can't take the time to do it right. What makes a scale harmonic minor? That's a great question, Ben. What makes a scale harmonic minor is if you take a minor scale, raise the seventh scale step up a half step. Right? It sounds really kind of exotic. And it is. It's one of my favorite scales. So that's what you do. Ah, Ben, nice. Looking forward to being 50 this year. Me too, brother. I'm looking forward to being 52. How about that? Whenever I meet somebody from LA, they always are like, why are you saying your age? They freak out. They literally freak out that I'm sharing my age, like I'm just dropping my pants. It's the weirdest thing. But over there, they do that some. They don't talk about their age. I don't care. Okay. Just questions, looking for question marks. Here we go. When I'm creating songs, chords, and notes with, and notes. When I'm creating songs, chords and notes come naturally. But when I have to write text, it's extraordinarily difficult. Any advice? Wong. Okay, so Wong, I think you probably mean when you're writing a song that the lyrics are difficult for you, right? That's probably what you're saying. Any advice? Yes. number one, I got a songwriting book coming out. But, get some songwriting books, learn poetry, learn rhyming schemes, learn how to creatively say what it is that you want to do. There are processes for writing songs. My wife talks about this all the time. She's writing right now, downtown Nashville. She's writing. And she will, like for instance, if they say, okay, let's write a song. So she had a song called Guy Walks Into a Bar. And she goes, let's do it on this joke, about that joke. But, it'll be more like, okay, guy walks into a bar. And like, what does a guy do at a bar? Well, he's looking for a girl. Okay, cool. He's drowning his sorrows. Cool. And what they do is they just vomit out all these ideas. And somebody's writing it. Writing. So they have all these ideas to work from. Then they can take those and create lyrics out of them. But if you try to write it like in this linear fashion, typically it doesn't come out like one would think. Okay, so Wong, what I would suggest is get some songwriting books, study songwriting. That's what you need to do. Okay, when I bought my mini Taylor, the music store said they would put strings closer for my fingers to get used to playing. How long should I leave closer before putting back to normal? Also, how often do I need to change strings? How do I know when the guitar strings need replacing? You know when the guitar strings need replacing when the guitar just doesn't sound right anymore. Typically it sounds dark and it doesn't sound very bright, okay? So that's number one. Also, if the guitar goes out of pitch a lot, then that may be a sign that you need to have new strings. Okay, so and how often should you change the strings? That often. And leave the strings where they're at as far as the height, unless there's some reason to change it. I would just leave it. Okay. Trent. Trent is saying, hey, Sage, if I've painted my guitar to look like Eddie Van Halen's, will it make me play just like him? Well, Trent, you know the answer to that. Of course it will. Next question. Trent Trent is a buddy of mine, actually, and he has an Eddie Van Halen guitar. But yes, Trent, it will definitely make you sound like him. God, think about how many kids did that in the 80s, painted their guitars. Ooh, I bet you there's some really ugly Eddie Van Halen paint jobs out there. Okay, a little thin, somebody wrote. Daniel, I'm going to need more. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to need a little bit more than that. If I was to learn one bar chord shape, say E chord, I could pretty much play that chord shape for any key depending on where I play it on the fretboard. Yes, that is true, Robert. Yep. So I have a video on this, in fact. If you on YouTube search YourGuitarSage bar chords. Don't do this without doing the free course first, okay? You've got to do the free course first, otherwise you're going to be lost. You've done the free course. There it is. Hey, look, see? Woohoo, that just appeared. Magical. So that's what you want to do, okay? And the way I teach this is, if you know this one shape, right? That's the E shape. Check this out. This is the E shape. We call that the E shape because it's based off of the E major chord. If I put my first finger here and barred the nut, which I don't need to do because the nut's there, but if I'm moving this up the fretboard, I do need to bar that. So now I have an E major, or actually, this is a major chord, minor chord, 7th chord, minor 7th chord. So literally that's 4 shapes, so 4 different chords, times 12 frets, or the 12 different keys. You got 48 chords from learning one chord. Eric, you just blew my mind. Thank you so much. And here's the deal. That's how I teach all my stuff. It's like the maximum amount of stuff for the minimum amount of work. Now, trust me, I've got stuff that is the counter to that, to where you got to really dig in order to get those other extra pieces. But if you've ever heard of Pareto's rule, right? Basically, if you do the right 80% of any particular thing, you can do, or the right 20%, you can take care of 80% of the job. Like, for instance, a carpenter. If you knew the right things, the right 20% of things to do as a carpenter, you could take care of 80% of the jobs. You'd have to learn the other 80% of that profession in order to do the other 20% of the job. That's called Pareto's principle or Pareto's rule, Pareto. Look that up because it's very true. And on guitar, it's more like 90-10. If you know the right 10% of stuff, you can do like 90% of the job. So very important. That's what the Unstoppable or what the free course is about, okay? All right, good stuff. Hey, Eric, I'm struggling to get my head around using my slide for my guitar. What would you say is the best method for technique for a beginner using a slide? So Brian, they're called a slide, not a slider, but that's okay. It's called a slide. And Brian, it's definitely going to be difficult at first. So if you were picking up the slide for the first time, or you've been even playing for a few months, and you're like, boy, this is easy, I'd be like, well, then you need to come down here and show me, and we need to do a series together because slide's not easy. Guitar's not easy. It takes discipline. So, Brian, watch some videos on slide, okay? There's no way, I mean, you can do everything on your own, right? It's like information of everything that's ever existed and ever will be is out there in the ether, okay? Getting metaphysical here for a minute, but it truly is out there. This is why when one person in one part of the world discovers or invents something, that in another part of the world somebody else just invented it too, and maybe 2 or 3, 4 people all at once, okay? And it's because information is being sent out, okay? From where, I don't know, but it's somewhere. And so you could learn slide guitar all by yourself through trial and error and just learning, right? But why do that when there are people out there teaching you for free? Why wouldn't you take advantage of those lessons, right? Do that. It's going to save you a ton of time, just like you would in my programs. It's like I'm going to save you a ton of time by cutting to the chase and getting straight to things that you need to do and keep you away from things you don't need to do. So take some lessons online, free or paid or otherwise. If you're inside the Unstoppable Guitar System, I have a section on slide. It's not a huge section on slide because I don't feel like I'm a great slide player. It's its own thing, okay? Anyhow, to which style would you appropriate each of your guitars? Otherwise, what styles of music would you use different for guitars? So, you know, every guitar is different, but they can be used for pretty much anything. So I wouldn't appropriate any specific guitar to any specific genre just because they pretty much are used for all. I probably wouldn't use the Eddie Van Halen guitar on anything other than rock just because it looks like a rocker, you know. But, you know, Telecasters used for punk, used for rock, blues, all country. The Strats used for blues and rock and country a lot. So you're going to find that they all cross over a ton. So it's almost not worthy even saying, you know. Yes. Neuroplasticity is how your brain grows, okay? Or it's basically, that's a word for how that your brain can grow, okay? Do you have any tips for a small acoustic amp? Todd, I don't, because I don't use acoustic amps. I don't really have much of a need for one. But the Fishman Loudbox, I understand, is a good one. Fishman Loudbox. Hi from Ireland. I'm new to this, and I like the Eagles and old bands like them. What electric guitar should I get? Ray, I would say get a Les Paul or an SG, a Telecaster. I mean, again, all these guitars are going to sound different, right? So, Ray, what I would suggest doing, get in the free program, get your feet wet a little bit. Observe what the Eagles are playing, what guitars they're playing, for what songs, right? Because you may hear one song and they may switch guitars on another song, but you need to know what sounds attract you, you know. So that's a good thing to do, yeah. Okay, you could be right, Ben. It says not to be an ass, but it looks like WGS, Guitar Warehouse Speaker. Yeah, could be, bud. Could be. My bad. I'm a beginner and want to learn an easier Gilmore song. What is the easier one to learn? Man, go straight for Comfortably Numb. It's not a hard song to play. The solo's not hard. It's, comparatively, obviously. If you're new to guitar and you've just never played anything before, then everything's going to be challenging to you, right? But Gilmore was not a fast player. He is not a fast player. He's not gone anywhere. He's not a fast player. He just plays very tastily, right? So, yeah, jump into Comfortably Numb. It's a great one. So much good stuff in there. Does closer mean the space between the top of the fret and bottom of the string? If so, that is called the action, and as long as it's not so low that it causes bugs. Uh-oh. Whoa, we got another donation, $24.99. Michael Rooney. No question here, just appreciate your interest in us. Oh, thank you, Michael. So kind. Michael and I chat a lot in the program and online and what have you. So kind, Michael. That is super sweet. I finally remembered to bring my wallet down to the den with me. Stairs are a serious challenge. Thank you, brother. So sweet. If you guys wanted to know what we're talking about, that's and Instagram's probably just getting ready to go bye-bye. So you know where to go, friends, Facebook and YouTube. But if you want to donate on YouTube, if you want to donate to the Lunch Fund, it's on YouTube. There's a little smiley face and a little money sign there, and that's how Michael did that just now. So thank you so much, buddy. So appreciate that. Let me keep answering some questions here on Facebook, but let's talk about this real quick. We're giving away 2 lifetime memberships to the Unstoppable Guitar System /365. It's over a $500 value. Each one of them is. Well, and heck, we're going to throw these books in too. How do you do that? You go right here, and you go right here, and you check out this post that's on Instagram. Here is what you need to do. Listen. Here, seriously, this is what you got to do. A lot of people are going to muck this up. So this is your chance to win a lifetime membership to the Unstoppable Guitar System /365, because there's a ton of people that aren't listened, they're checked out, and they're not going to get this right. It is so flippin' easy. Here's what you got to do. You go to this post. You see that little heart button? You're gonna hit that heart button. Then you're going to follow Instagram. If you haven't done that already, do that. And then you see that little circled airplane with the arrow pointing at it? You're going to click that. Okay? 3 things. Like, you need to follow, and you need to share it, okay? And the way you're going to share is you're going to click that little airplane button, the one that's circled and the one with the arrow pointing at it. You click it, and then it'll bring up this page, and it will allow you to share it on your stories. You don't even have to know what that means. You just, click that button, and then you'll see the next page, and in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see a little cute icon of your cute little face, or your head, or whatever your little icon is. Click that, and you will have shared the story. And here's the deal. We get notified of that, and so what we do is we will go through them, and we're going to pick a winner. We're going to make announcements tomorrow before the broadcast. Okay, before tomorrow's broadcast, we're going to be announcing one winner on Instagram stories. So it's good that you get familiar with stories, okay? It's pretty cool. We'll be announcing that there. And then the following day, Thursday morning, we're going to be doing the same thing, giving another one away. So you'll win a lifetime membership to Unstoppable Guitar System /365, the one that we pick, because we're going to pick one for each of those days. And then also going to win the trifecta of the Unstoppable Guitar System Guitar Mastery Simplified / Ukulele Mastery Simplified / How to Read Music Simplified with these books, okay? All bestsellers, or have been, on Amazon. So there you go. Cool? You know what to do. Okay, and if you don't know what to do, just watch this part over again. You can figure it out, okay? I have a 20-watt PV Piranha tube head. I'm going to make a cab for it. I like a nice mellow bluesy sound, not tinny or thin. What wattage speaker would you recommend? I'm thinking a 10-inch or 12-inch 50-watt. Thoughts? Ben, a 10-inch speaker is real nice. 12-inch speakers are real nice. It's a little bit of lower end there, but not necessary when you're talking about a guitar per se, you know. And as far as the wattage, I don't know. I'm not the person to ask about that because I'm terrible when it comes to ohmage and all that stuff. I went to school for it, and I pretty much forgot everything as soon as I got my diploma. Cool. It only took 9 years and probably $100,000, but you know, here I am. So yeah, I forgot about all that stuff. Larry is saying, Eric, 3 months with my old teacher. I learned Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Cool. 3 months with you. I can play Alice in Chains, Metallica, Def Leppard, The Cars, Heart, and Shania Twain. How about that? I love that, Larry. Thank you so much. Man, there's a lot of students that start, a lot of teachers that start students off with these really simple songs. And it's not to say that there's anything wrong with that, especially a child, right? But typically, unless you're 5, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is just ain't gonna do it. Which, by the way, was written by Amadeus Mozart, if you're not familiar with theme and variation. That's where that melody comes from. But it's still a very simple melody, right? And so I always say, if you want to keep your interest in guitar, learn songs that you're interested in learning. Guitar is supposed to be fun. It should not be a chore. Now, just like in the Screw Tape Letters, when the guy was talking about, I'm getting off on a tangent now, I can feel it, but the guy was talking about, there's the Bible scholar who wants to know all this stuff, but then if he knows that he has to learn Greek, right, in order to really know this stuff, then he might be out, right? And that's what a lot of people are about guitar. They're like, dude, I want to be a rock star. Oh, but there's work? Oh, yeah, no, I don't really want to do work. But if you could just, Eric, if I could pay you and you could just make me a rock star, well, obviously that doesn't work, right? So, how did I get off on that tangent? I don't even know. But nonetheless, that's what to do, right? Just, you got to dig in. Yeah, that was a major tangent. Okay, so here we go. Can you recommend a small acoustic amp? Okay, we talked about that. Any video on GD playing in the band? Any video on GD playing in the band? GD. I don't know what that means, Gus. GD playing. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I mean, at my house, I know what GD playing is. That's what my mom would tell me, to turn the GD playing down. No, she didn't. She never did that. She never take the Lord's name in vain. Okay, she's Jew for Jesus. Jews for Jesus, my mom. Yep. Okay, any tips for flipping a page while reading music? Been learning Jim Croce songs while watching this, but get stuck with a pause every time the page ends. So here's the deal, BJ. Many different ways to do this. So if you're using, say, an iPad, they have these things now where you literally can take your hand and do this over the camera, and it'll switch the page for you. There's also little things that they have, like little buttons and stuff. So there's some electronic gadgets that you can click with your foot that'll move it. However, BJ, what you want to do is you want to memorize that part. Okay, listen, folks, for those folks that are reading music, learn the very end of the song, memorize that part, and memorize the next page, the first part. Because what that does is that'll get you a little bit of buffer, so that when you're playing, you've got that part memorized. You can flip it in any section there for a particular section. It's not, you have to turn it just at that one note, but you have a section because you've memorized it, and then you're going to be a lot better about being able to do that. Okay, but yeah, you gotta move your hand and do it, or in professional settings, a lot of times you'll have somebody that will move the page for you. Okay. There's other little tricks that I've seen people do. I've seen people put little like gummy things on their headstock, and they'll move the page over while they're playing, type of thing. I've seen all sorts of stuff. So, since the biggest music stars make so much money, why do you think so many fans today let them get away with obvious lip syncing, aka singing with pre-recorded tracks at mega expensive concerts? I don't know of many people that are lip syncing anymore. It seems like that went out with the 90s. Like they don't really fall for that anymore, I don't know of anybody that's doing that, but yeah, I don't know. BJ, I've seen students at the College of Music recitals using foot switch to iPad for turning on screen. Yeah, indeed. I learned theory on the internet. ? How much I need to practice to be better? This is my theory, and it's very scientific. This is the math. Get a pen out, okay? If you have a calculator, get that out too, because you're going to need it. If you're totally fine with sucking, then don't practice hardly at all. Just Play video games, eat pizza, watch lots of TV, hang out with your friends, and don't practice the guitar. And then you're going to be totally fine because your goal is to be a sucky player anyhow. If you want to be a mediocre player and you want everybody to go, man, that guy, he's mediocre. he's right in the middle there. Wow, go. If you want to be that, then practice more than that guy who is practicing a little bit. But if you want to kick ass, James, if you want to rule the world, if you want to build albums, if you want to create an empire, if you want to move people with your lyrics and your music, if you want to change the world, then get your ass to play that guitar and don't stop playing it, all right? I mean, 8-10 hours a day. Do whatever it takes. If you don't have that time, make that time. But again, everybody's different. This isn't a guilt thing. But if you really want to excel at the guitar, you better be practicing more than whoever it is that you want to be better than. And if it's not a matter of that, you just want to be good, then, you know, obviously you want to step by step. That's why the free program's there for you. Do that, get your feet wet at least, and then you're going to find out, whoa, hey, this is something I'm really falling in love with. I think I want to do this for my life. It happens to people, okay? It happened to me. Hey, this is something I want to do with my life. And when it's like I've taught for decades, but not full time. It wasn't my full-time job. And when I was a banker, when I was a realtor, when I was doing things that are fine jobs, but not doing what I was that I loved to do, it hurt my heart. And every time I saw some great guitar player, I said, I really want to be doing that. And I kept reaching for that until eventually it happened, you know. Took years though. Took years and a lot of dedication. So Guitar Care 101, how often should I oil my fretboard? I have some guitars here where I never do it. I do it, you know, whenever I'm bringing my guitar into my guitar tech, you know. So, you know, once a year would probably be enough. But I have guitars where I haven't done that in a year, easily, you know. How fast are muscle memories built, especially overnight? Charlie's saying. Charlie, it depends how you practice. So listen to this, folks, because this is a really, really important bit here. I'm not kidding on this one. Okay, it's really important. Okay, that when you're practicing, you are pushing the envelope wherever it is that you're comfortable at. If you're playing, I don't care if it's 10 hours a day. If you're playing for 10 hours a day and it's not uncomfortable, if you're not like, oh God, there's got to be some little bit of frustration in there. We don't want so much frustration that we put the guitar down, but we don't want to be so comfortable that we're not growing. You go to the gym, the only way for you to grow muscles, the only way for you to lose weight is to push the envelope, okay? So if you did 50 push-ups one day, you can't do 50 push-ups the next day. You're just going to maintain. You got to do 51, you got to do 52, or you got to do something different to press your muscles more. So same thing is true with guitar. If you're playing your scales at 100 beats per minute, then you need to bump it up the next time, or you need to be pushing it. It needs to be uncomfortable. So with everybody listening, if you're wondering why it is that you're not improving, there's probably two things that are happening. Number one, you're learning three things. You're learning things out of order. You're expecting too much from yourself, meaning not that you're expecting too much from yourself, but you know, a lot of people say, I'm a perfectionist and I expect a lot from myself. Well, that's no badge of honor to expect a lot from yourself if you're not willing to put in the work. Otherwise, that's called a dreamer, and there's nothing wrong with dreamers. It all starts with a dream. But if you are not willing to put in the work, then you're just a dreamer, and no one's really amused by that. No one's really moved by that. Get off your ass, do what it takes to make your life happen, and kill it. Rock it, you know what I mean? Do it. So in order to do that, you have to be pressing against your comfort zone. It's got to be uncomfortable a little bit. If it's too uncomfortable, you're going to put the guitar down. Don't do that. But everybody who's listening to me, there's no one who can't be doing this. And if you're not doing it, it's probably why you're not getting better. Also, not learning stuff in order, like I teach in the free program, learn stuff in order. Very important, okay? If you're not learning stuff in order, it's just going to be really frustrating for you, okay? Does girls love rhythm or solo guitar players? James, girls love lead guitar players, solo guitar players. It's a known fact. This is science. I mean, yeah, they like rhythm guitar players, but I mean, when it comes down to it, girls like lead guitar players. It's just science. Okay, hey Eric, what's the deal with your arms? Have you got lots of tattoos? I notice your arms are always covered. Is there a reason? Well, right now it's cold, so I'm in Tennessee, and it's really really cold. However, with that being said, yes. So for many years I've suffered with psoriasis. I say suffered. I'm trying to watch the way I talk. For many years, I have had psoriasis, okay? Which is basically where your skin is all red and it's not very fun. With that being said, since I went vegan and since I've been doing all sorts of things to correct my diet and what have you, my health, not just that, but my health has improved vastly. So, if you'd like to see me in playing guitar lessons again in a tank top, that's never going to happen. But if you'd like to see, with short sleeves, that I'll be doing that again in the summer because my skin's so much better. What is the key to your color-coded fretboard diagrams? What is the key? Well, Kristen, it depends which one you're talking about. So sometimes I literally was woken up. This happened maybe a year ago or so, where I was like, man, there's 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, right? And I was like, well, there's 7 colors in the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And I was like, well, why wouldn't I just use those 2? Because we know those colors and we know them in that order, and I'll use that to determine what note's what. So if I have this chord here, and the 1 is a red, the 3 would be a yellow, the 5 would be a blue, so right, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. So then it makes sense, and then the more you work with it, the better it gets. Okay, the better you get. And so so I have a series inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System where I'm teaching you how to visualize the fretboard in a way that's never been done before, like in a way where you can go, oh, dude, easy. Okay, that makes sense. Learning chords, learning scales, all okay. Richard, I think your monthly rate is too expensive. Is there a way to get it at a low price? Richard, yes. Just the Unstoppable Guitar System lifetime membership. There is no monthly membership. You're just buying into the whole program. You have it for life, and you get no monthly charge. So, Richard, in the same place that you saw the monthly rate, and yes, our monthly rate is higher. In fact, it's probably higher than most other, more than probably any guitar lesson series I've ever seen out there. But for the same reason, Richard, that when you go to buy a Rolls Royce, you're not like, well, now, wait a minute. There's a VW Bug over there, and that thing is $15,000. What gives you the right? That's because it's the shit. Okay, sorry, but it is. Over 1,000 videos, constantly updating this thing. Anybody who's in the Unstoppable Guitar System, let Richard know. And Richard, here's the deal. You can also check the whole program out for free. Okay? You check the whole program out for free. What? All right, hey, look. Someone just donated 30 pounds. I'm thinking this is 30 pounds, which is like 30 something dollars. I'm pretty sure like $35 or something like that. Anyhow, so kind. Who is this? Who did this? Beverly. Oh, Beverly, thank you. Oh, thank you, Beverly. That means so much to me too, because that means that you know that I was not scolding you, that I really mean what I mean, that you can do anything that you want to do, but you just got to dig in. So Beverly, so kind of you. Thank you. So sweet. Okay, so where's the Runaways SG, the 69 SG? Here it is, my friends. Gonzo, and I played this at the beginning of the broadcast, so there you go. Bought this a few years ago, and it literally was played by the Runaways, used by the Runaways, Lita Ford and Joan Jett, and I'm so proud to own it. Not just because of that, but just because it's everything. It's a fantastic guitar. Okay, how does the monthly compare to a live teacher at a local guitar store? So that, Thrash, thank you so much for asking this, because Richard is saying that the monthly rate is very expensive. It's $40 a month is what it is. It is. It's $40 a month. There are other programs you can get into for $20 a month, but I'm telling you, check them out, check us out, and go with what makes you happy. You may be happy with the $20 a month, and then you're saving $20. But I'm telling you, and other folks will tell you that are folks that are in the Unstoppable Guitar System, there's a reason that we have, to date now, it's like 100 and this is just the one program. I have this on other sites and what have you. It's like 170,000 people have gone through UGS and the free program, the UGS / the free program. Okay, so we've had lots of people go through this. A lot of people learning guitar. There's a reason that it's a bit more expensive. Okay, all that to say, what Thrash Metal's asking, how does this monthly compare to a live teacher at a local guitar store? So Richard and Thrash Metal, if you visited me for one lesson, no joke, it's $200 an hour. So that would buy you 5 months of the Unstoppable Guitar System. Let's say you find some teacher who's going to teach you at $40 an hour, and let's say they're an amazing teacher. Great, okay, that's great. They're out there. I don't know if they're in your town, but you got to search, okay? They're out there. With that being said, if it's $40 per lesson, then you have 1 hour with that person. With the Unstoppable Guitar System, you literally have thousands of lessons that you could take from, that you could watch in order. Go back and watch it again. If you didn't get what your guitar teacher said last week, and this happened to me in half the lessons that I had, my student would come back and I had to teach it again because they didn't practice what it was that I showed them. So I can't tell you how many times that happened. So, now you're looking at a, $80 or $60 lesson, however you're looking at it. So that's how it compares. At $40 a month, it's insanely cheap, okay? Insanely cheap. Does the local guy shred professionally also? Exactly. Thank you. Oh, Thrash Metal. Okay, you were asking for Richard. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And it's true. Okay, on a Les Paul style guitar, it's hard to reach the higher notes. It is. With some left-hand gymnastics. Any suggestions? My guitar's top horn reaches the fretboard at the 15th fret. Nope, that's a Les Paul. Welcome. That's why the new custom guitar that I'm having built, that you guys saw at the top of the program, that beautiful blue guitar with the blue neck and all that, that's why that guitar is built with a Stratocaster in mind. This is the Stratocaster, as opposed to a Les Paul, because the Les Paul, even though it's one of my favorite guitars, it's just not super fun to get up in those upper registers, okay? Is your wife a songwriter? She is, lovely Teresa 1. Her name is Melissa Pierce. It's Peirce, and she's written a lot of hits, a lot of country hits for like David Nail, Tyler Farr, Reba McEntire. She's had songs recorded by Keith Urban, Garth Brooks. She had 2 on his breakout album recently here a few years ago. Carrie Underwood, lots of folks. So yeah, look her up, Melissa Pierce, Peirce. Okay. Is it YouTube's knowledge enough to become a guitar player? Yes, by all means, it is. Now, here's the deal, though, Ka. I also have a video that says you don't need any guitar lessons to become a great guitar player. And it's true. It's just like I mentioned earlier to a student that they said they wanted to play slide, right? And I said, well, the best way to do it is to take lessons, but ultimately you don't need to if you observe enough, right? So it's not a matter of is YouTube enough knowledge to become a guitar player? That's unquestionably a yes, okay? 100%. But the deal is how long is it going to take you by jumping around from this video to that video to that? You're finding people who don't know how to teach. You're finding some that do know how to teach. And when you do find one that knows how to teach, then maybe they're too advanced or what have you. So this is why folks, that when they find me on YouTube and they say, hey, I like your style, and then they take the free program. Some people, they just take that free program and that's it. I never see them again, and they're so happy, and that's great. Everybody's happy, and I love it. Other people are like, dude, I want to become the best that I can be, and they keep going with the lessons. So in either way, I'm helping folks and what have you. But it's more a question of how quickly do you want to become what you want to become, your dream, That's more the question. Hello, sir. This is Kaza, said, I just learned my first scale, minor pentatonic. Even though I know the scale, I can't seem to write melodies off the top of my head. Any suggestions to get better at melodies? Yes, Kaza, a couple things you could do. Number one, put on some sort of chord progression like an E minor and an A minor, or an E minor and a C, or some sort of looped chord progression, or find an E minor chord progression on YouTube, and then play your scale over that, and you're going to find that it works really nicely. And at first it's just going to sound like a scale. Then eventually you're going to say, that bores me, and you're going to come up with licks, okay? And that's what you want to do. Or just play the scale a few times and then hum. That's another way. That's a lot of the ways songwriters come up with melodies, is they just hum, because it's almost always going to be in the key that they're chording in, okay? The other issue is I'm new to transitioning from a non-anchored rhythm chord into anchored lick. Guess that's also normal. Yes, indeed. Anything that you're doing new is always going to seem foreign. And that's anything. Guitar, anything, okay? Unless it's like related to something that you've done before. Like, for instance, if you're used to using a fork, picking up a spoon is not going to be as awkward for you as it will be a toddler, right? Because you're used to picking up a fork, so a spoon's pretty much the same thing. But anything new that you're bringing to your brain is going to indeed be, it's going to challenge you, okay? Okay, excellent. Oh, Clint, what's up, brother? Eric, just in case you didn't notice my greeting, good morning, and I got the call for that job. I'll be able to start lessons in a couple weeks or sooner. I'll get my return soon. Love that, Clinton. For sure, brother. Love that. Be keeping an eye on your email too, Clinton. Got a surprise for you. Okay, Ernie Ball or D'Addario? Ernie Ball or D'Addario? So I just had Ernie Balls put on all my guitars, and I have to say that I don't really notice a difference. It's what my guitar tech put on my guitar, but I can't really tell much of a difference, or at all. Like if someone said these are D'Addarios, I'd be like, okay. If they said they're Ernie Balls, I'd be like, okay. Like, a string is a string to me. I hear people go, oh man, there's a difference. I'm like, I think thinks that maybe you're inventing stuff, because I just don't hear a difference. But maybe it's my ears. Best way to get out of a rut or a wall with your playing. Also, do you have any good call and response videos in your paid for lessons? Just J5. Yes. So on YouTube, I've got some free call and response lessons. So on YouTube, search YourGuitarSage call and response. But I have a ton of them inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System. The best way to get out of a rut or a wall is to get a new song or something new that you want to learn, and be tenacious about going after that and doing it, okay? You got to get out of your comfort zone. The reason you're in a rut or you've hit a wall is because you're in your comfort zone. You're not, and that's with anything in life. Workouts, diet, relationships, whatever. It's because you're in a comfort zone. You got to change things up. You know exactly what I'm talking about, specifically you. You know what I'm talking about. You know what it is you need to change up. Friggin' do it. Just do it. That's the number one thing. You just have to do it. You can talk about it all day long, but doing it's a whole nother story. Okay, good question. Okay, why are the cowboy chord shapes, finger placements taught differently than bar chords? Would it be easier to just learn the bar chord finger placements? Ian, a lot of people have difficulties playing bar chords at first. That's why they go to the cowboy chords, okay? But remember, a chord is 3 or more notes played together. So if I'm playing a G major chord like this, if I'm playing a G major chord like this, or 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 this, or this, they're all G major chords, so there's so many different ways to do it. It really has to do with the recipe of notes. Think about this. If you have a chili, right? You know what chili should taste like, right? It shouldn't taste sweet. There's not a lot of whipped cream on it. There's some basics to chili, right? It's kind of hot. It's got some beans in it. It's got some tomatoes in it. It's usually served warm. It's brown. Things like that. That's chili. You're used to that. But if you eat a chili from grandma and then you eat one from your mom and then you go down to the local fire station, because that's all they do all day long is make chili and put out fires, right? Then you're going to taste different chilies, right? So here I played like 7 different G major chords. It's because they're all made like a chili, but they all have slightly different variations to them, okay? Maybe one has more black beans in it, another one has more red beans in it. Here, one note may have more G's in it than B's, okay? Make sense? Yeah. Eric, you're on live always in the mornings. Now that I'm back to work, I'll be working mornings. Clinton, yes, they're always in the mornings. If you're in the Unstoppable Guitar System, I do one midday, like around 1 p.m., and I do another one at 7 p.m. Central Time for folks that are inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System. But yeah, but you can watch them afterwards too, Clinton, okay? All right, good questions. I'm sorry I'm late to the show buying the Runaways 69 SG. I'm guessing you bought it already. Pete, yeah, I bought this years ago. This is it. I bought it years ago, and I told the story at the top of the broadcast, so you can check that out right there. But yeah, beautiful guitar. It plays wonderfully and sounds amazing. This is a 6120. Someone's asking about this right here. It's a 6120. Who's asking this? Topo Pops. Get this, Topo Pops. It's a 6120. Guess what year? Gone. Guess. Yes, a 59. What? This was one of my dream guitars, and I haven't earned it yet. I have to say, I have not earned it yet, at least as far as playing, because I need to know more rockabilly licks. I know a few Stray Cat songs, but I really need to get better at the whole rockabilly thing. Okay, when you choose a winner, do you just draw names? Brad, so you could watch the broadcast earlier where I talked about it, but there's some specific things that you need to do. Okay, in fact, let's talk about it real quick. On Instagram, I've got a post. Okay, looks a little bit like this post right here. Bam. Okay, 3 things you need to do. Ready? You need to follow the Instagram. This is if you want to be in the running for winning. You got to be following my Instagram account. You like it, which is that little thing right here. Let's see if I can point to it right there. That little heart thing, right? You need to hit that. And then you can also see there's a little arrow there pointing to a airplane. You click that. Then the next page that comes up in the bottom left-hand corner, you're going to see your little icon. You click that. That's all you do. It's 2 clicks. Click, click. You click that little airplane. The next page that comes up, bottom left-hand corner, you click. You don't have to know anything about this. You just do it. But essentially, you're sharing it on your Instagram stories. And then what we do is we are going to pick a winner tomorrow morning and then Thursday morning as well. We're going to announce that on Instagram stories, okay? Remember, folks, we're changing this all the time. We're doing things on different formats because one guy's going to have Instagram, another gal's not going to have Instagram, and someone's going to have Facebook, somebody else isn't, and I can't please the world. At the same time, I can't, we live in a big world with different time zones all the time, so obviously I can't curtail the lesson specifically to you either. So it's just an unfortunate part of living in a universe with a sun that, does what it does and stuff. Actually, the sun doesn't do anything, does it? We spin around it. Eric, what brand of CBD oil do you use? Is it in the pill form? It's called Straight Hemp, and it's supposed to be the Cadillac or the Rolls Royce it's the UGS of CBD. How about that? It's really good. I use it only when I'm going to sleep. I take about 8 drops and boom, I'm out, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it relaxes you a whole bunch. Okay, good. Okay, let's just get a couple more questions here because we need to head on out. Okay, I started playing in 2004, having lessons on and off. I'm turning 55 soon and not a great player as of yet. I feel I still need basics. Can't afford much. What do I do? Where do I start? Michael, here's where you start. Everyone, listen up, okay? And I apologize if you've heard this a bunch, but you got to listen to this. It's important. I created this program for you. YourGuitarSage.com/30. Boom, right there. It's literally the first 30 lessons that I teach all my students. If you visited me here in Nashville, if you came to me 30 times, these are the lessons that I would teach you one-on-one. They're taught by me, same dude, same guitars, same studio, teaching you the same order that I would teach you. but it would cost you a lot of money. Again, I'm $200 an hour, so you do the math. It'll cost you thousands of dollars. Or you can click the link that's in the description of the video, both on Facebook and YouTube. The link's in there. It says YourGuitarSage.com/30. That one. You can't click on that, but the one in the description of the video, you can. Literally, that'll take you to the site. It doesn't cost anything to get into it. It doesn't cost anything. It's free. And people say, well, why did you create that? It's because I had so many questions, so many people, and it also gives them a taste, basically, of what's inside the Unstoppable Guitar System. So without having to buy anything, you can get in there and you can go, dude, I like this guy. Or, hey, this guy's a dweeb. I really don't like his hair, right? So then this way you haven't lost out on any money and you get free 30 lessons, right? So definitely do that, Bonnie. Thank you so much for saying that. Hey, and going out here, if you are already in the Unstoppable Guitar System, okay, if you're in the free program, please let folks know right now. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, let folks know so that they know that I'm not joshing, okay? I'm very, very serious. This is the way to learn guitar. You can go on YouTube. You can never take a lesson ever in your life and still learn. But why would you do that? I guarantee you, you're doing something right now to better yourself in some way. And you're not doing it by, I mean, did you buy a coffee this morning? Or did you make it? Well, some of you made it. But I guarantee you, you used some sort of service because it was worth it. Because it got you where you wanted to get to quicker, or it had some sort of worth to you, okay? So if you're serious about learning guitar, this is the way to do it, and it's absolutely free. Larry, thank you so much. So watch in the chat here, you're going to see folks that are talking about UGS, they're talking about the free program. It's there for you, okay? So get in there, have a blast doing this, okay? I'm here for you. Please let me know how I can help. Let's see if there's anything else. Make sure you go to the Instagram page right now. Don't forget that. It's going to be so easy. Whoever's going to, I guarantee you, it's probably going to be dozens of people that do this. And it's like over $1,000 worth of prize giveaways. So you do the math. It's pretty easy to win during this, okay? So you're going to head over to Instagram. You're going to like it, do all the stuff that I mentioned earlier. All right, I'm so sorry that I'm under the weather today. And I've been kind of just bleh, you know. But nonetheless, I'm here for you. Please let me know how I can help in the program and everything else. All right, my friends, I'm out of here. See you.